How's it going, YouTube? LTX Prisco here. So, if you watched the video that I posted either yesterday or today, whenever this video gets uploaded, I want to apologize to you guys. It is the video that is celebrating the 100 subscribers, and I made a bit of a mistake. Now, don't mind the hair and you know, the messiness. It's been a long day. I made a bit of a mistake. In one of the test hands, actually both of the test hands, I made a mistake in the combo, and I don't want to provide you guys with any false information whatsoever. So rather than you know, putting a comment or adjusting the video in any way, I figured I'd just redo the whole thing and let you guys know from the beginning, or from right now, that the mistake was made, and I am uploading this video as of right now to amend that. Without further ado, this is the Tenyi deck profile that was uploaded originally, in addition to the 100 subscriber giveaway for the Magi Magician girl here. So also, there was one change that I meant to put into the deck and I never did, so I figured I'm going to use this as an opportunity to go ahead and show you guys that. So without further ado, gonna go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so here we have Tenyi's. Gonna go ahead and just, like I said, get right into it here. We're gonna start off with 3 Adhara. So if you haven't watched my previous video, which I'm going to put the little card up here in the corner, or if you just don't know what they do in general, the Tenyi's, they special summon themselves whenever you control no effect monsters. Even when you control no monsters at all, you meet that qualification so that they can special summon themselves. And then all of them have different effects that you can use while you control non-effect monsters that require you to banish them from your hand or graveyard for cost. So Adhara reads that if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, then target one of your banished worm monsters, except this card, add it to your hand. So it says except this card, but it doesn't say this card's name. So you can add another copy of Adhara to your hand if this is in the graveyard. Now keep in mind, it's kind of foolish to banish this from hand to add another one of this to your hand. No, you want to banish this while it's already in your graveyard. Alright, or if it's in your hand and you want like one of the other Tenyi monsters in your hand, then you can go ahead and do that. The next card that we have is 3 Tenyi Spirit Vishuddha. Now these are the 2 most well-known Tenyis right here, Adhara and Vishuddha. Vishuddha was used about maybe 2 formats ago in the Going Second Orcus lists that were being played a lot, as well as just Orcus and Mech Knights and a lot of the other Going Second decks in general. Because this one can force out some negations, and if it doesn't get negated, then you're spinning something back, because this card reads, if you control if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, then target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Now each of them all have that a hard once per turn effect clause, but the only bad side about this one is that it targets. But the upside is that it's a card, any card. It can be a set card, it can be a monster, whatever. You can see how that can force out some negates. The next card is the one that came out in Chaos Impact, is Tenyi Spirit Ashuna. This is the light spirit that a lot of people were waiting for, and a lot of people were actually upset it didn't get released with the rest of them, but you know, it's okay. This one is one of the better ones, and this one reads that if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard and special summon one Tenyi monster from your deck, except Tenyi Spirit Ashuna. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except worm monsters. So it's good to use this like later in the combo, just so that you can get that extra extension onto your field as far as like your Draco Berserker. But we'll get into that in just a moment. Next, we are playing 2 copies of Shethana. Shethana is probably the best level 4 out of all the main deck Tenyi monsters, because this one reads that if you have a face-up non-effect monster you control gets destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard and then target one of those destroyed monsters. Special summon it. Then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. You can only use this effect to Tenyi Spirit Shatana once per turn. So you can see how, like, if your opponent's gonna crash over like your monk or something like that and it gets destroyed, you can just banish this and bring it back and then destroy their attacking monster. There's also ways that you can use this in conjunction with some of your own cards that I have in the deck, which you'll see in just a moment. Next, I play 2 Tenyi Spirit Nahada. This one is pretty much like an honest, I would say, with its effect just being a little bit different. So when an attack is declared involving your face-up non-effect monster and your opponent's face-up monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard. That opponent's monster loses 1500 attack until the end of this turn. So it's kind of like an honest, except honest affects your monster. This is affecting your opponent's. So you can see how it's slightly different. The last Tenyi Spirit is Mapora. This one is probably the worst one because it's an effect activation negation. However, its requirement's a little weird. So when your opponent activates an effect that a card or effect that targets your face-up non-effect monster that you control, you can quick effect banish this card from your hand or graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So it requires your opponent to be targeting your monsters, which there's not a lot of cards that do that in general. And the ones that do, that are played a lot, are like Effect Veiler and Impermanence, which, I mean, your opponent's probably not going to waste that on a non-effect monster in general. So next we are playing 2 copies of Mare. I was playing 1 at first, then I bumped it up to 2, because seeing it in my hand isn't too bad, but sometimes seeing it in your hand with no way to get it to the graveyard can suck. So I play cards in here that can get it to the graveyard, but let's say it gets like a DD Crowed or Called by the Grave, you want to still have access to it in the late game. So the next card that I'm playing is Dunn Wrestler Pankratops. That's pretty self-explanatory. This deck likes to go second, but it can go first as well. And then the new addition that I put in here is Nidhogg, the Jane Raider Boss of Ice. Now, because it is a worm, it can be summoned off of like Shaman. It could also be sent to Grave off of Vessel. Now this card is really cool, and I'll read it off to you. So you can only control 1 Nidhogg Jane Raider Boss of Ice. And when your opponent would special summon a monster, quick effect, you contribute 1 Jane Raider monster or 1 worm monster and negate the summon. If you do, destroy that monster. You can only use this effect of Nidhogg once per turn. So it's like a Solemn Judgment almost, because it negates a summon. So having this on field, it's, you know, not only is it a big body, but it's a negate to a summon. So you can just negate that critical summon, and you contribute off like one of your Mares or one of your Mare tokens. There's going to be a lot of token generating in this deck. So this card, I see it being very useful, although very situational, because you're not always going to have this on field. And then for the rest of the monsters, I'm playing 1 Jet Synchron, 1 Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion, and 1 Shiny Black Sea Squatter. Now, the reason why I chose these are self-explanatory, but the reason why I chose this is because it's a level 4 Earth Vanilla, and I mean, it's got a big 2000 attack, but it's just like, this can be any level 4 Earth Vanilla. You're going to be summoning this off of Unexpected Die. So as far as the spells go, I'm playing 3 Flawless Protection of the Tenyi. This one states that all non-effect monsters on the field are unaffected by monster effects, and once per turn, if your opponent special summons an effect monster or monsters while you control a face-down monster or a non-effect monster, except during the damage step, you can draw 2 cards. This can be a very good extender as well as protection for your non-effect monsters. Next, we are playing 3 Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. This one is probably the best spell in the deck, and it states you can send 1 worm monster from your deck to your graveyard, and then if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Tenyi monster with a different name from the monster sent to the graveyard. Now this is a hard once per turn, but it's pretty much a Rhoda and a Foolish Burial in 1, and it's at 3, which is amazing. Next, we are playing 3 Tuning, and we're only using this really to get into our Jet Synchron. If we happen to open up this and Synchron in the same hand, then this is kind of dead. So that kind of sucks, but that's why I'm only playing one Jet Synchron to kind of limit that from happening very often. Also, the milling one from the top of your deck can be useful because sometimes you can end up milling that one card that you really need in your graveyard. Next, we are playing 3 Unexpected Die, like I said. We are using this to summon that level 4 Vanilla, and that plus the level 1 Adhara is a Nat Beast, which is just really strong against very spell-reliant decks. We are playing 2 Forbidden Chalice, and this is pretty much just an imperm, as well as an attack boost during the damage step for your own monsters, because if you're boosting up your own non-effect monsters and you're not really worried about negating any of their effects because they don't have any. And then the last spell we're playing is the one Terraforming. As far as the traps go, we are playing 2 Torrential Tribute. I was playing 3 before, but I did need to make space for the Nidhogg. And cutting 1 Torrential Tribute was the only justifiable cut that I could make. And then the last 2 are the 2 Paleozoic Dynamiscus, because this on the field is a non-effect monster, and plus you can discard a card and banish 1 face-up card that you're on the field. So this card can be game stealing sometimes against certain matchups. So that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we are playing the 3 Monk. This is very, very standard, very self-explanatory. If you played Tenyi at all, then you know that playing less than 3 does kind of hurt. 2 Shaman. Now this is where, if you did happen to catch the video that I uploaded and then deleted, this is where I made the mistake. Playing 2 Shaman is correct, but it's her effect that I kind of misinterpreted. So her effect reads, you can discard 1 card, target 1 worm monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and also for the rest of this turn you cannot activate the effects of monsters special summoned from the extra deck, except Tenyi monsters. So I completely forgot about that clause, locking you into the Tenyi monsters effects. So I would summon her and then go into Needle Fiber after using her effect, and then use Needle Fiber's effect as well, which that was wrong. I gave you guys some wrong information, and now I'm making up for it by having to redo the whole video. So at the end of this video, I am going to show you a test hand, and hopefully be able to show you the proper way to combo using this. I made sure that I got the combo down correctly before I even started recording. So 1 Berserker, that's, you can play 2 if you want, but the extra deck's really tight at this moment, so you know, you're always going to be able to recur him with Shaman anyway, so playing 1 just feels right. 1 Draco Masters, and then 1 Sahasrara. This one's can't be destroyed by effect monsters in battle, and if you control no other effect monsters, you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effect monsters you control and or in your graveyard. So if you have a bunch of tokens on field, they count as non-effect monsters, and if you have like 3 Monk in your graveyard, then that's, you know, 3 pops, which is just, it's really good. Sahasrara is also another good card that you can use in conjunction with like the field spell, because it creates a token as a quick effect, and the token has attack equal to your whatever monster you targeted, which is going to be your opponent's monster. You always want to target their strongest monster. But also it says that while you control a face-up non-effect monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target effect monsters for attacks, and your opponent cannot target effect monsters on the field with card effects, even their own. So as you can see, that can kind of help in your favor because it's forcing them to attack your non-effect monster, and it's most likely going to be the token that you created off of Sahasrara. For the rest of the links, I am playing 1 Link Karibo. That's kind of for like the Jet Synchron and the tokens you're going to be summoning. I am playing 1 Linfarincus just because it's a generic Link 2 and it's non-effect, so it does help you go deeper into your deck with, like, let's say you didn't really open up too well, you opened up just a bunch of monsters, you kind of want to dig a little deeper. This, believe it or not, can help facilitate that. 1 Crystron Halifibrax. I promise you guys I'm going to show you how to utilize this correctly this time. And then 1 Crusadia Avermax. So it is very much so a link-based deck. I play a very heavy link lineup. For the 3 synchros, I play 1 Herald of the Arclight, 1 Nat Beast, and 1 Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. These are pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I really need to explain what they do. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck, and then we'll do a random test hand, and I'll show you, hopefully, assuming I don't brick, I'll show you how to properly do the combo. Alright, so we will be right back. Alright, so we're going to finish up shuffling here. Alright, let's see what we got. Tuning, Vessel, Ashuna, Adhara, and Nahada. So, okay, not best hand, not the bad hand. This is pretty basic. We'll go ahead and activate Tuning. Grab our Jet Synchron. Shuffle up, and then we're gonna mill 1. Okay, that's pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and special summon Ashuna, link 1. Go into Monk and activate Vessel. We can send Mermere to grave, and we can add Mapora to hand. And the only reason we're adding Mapora is because we're probably going to use Ashuna to summon out Vishuddha later in the combo. So this is what our hand is looking like right now. We'll go ahead and special summon Mapora and link 2 into Shaman. Now we're not going to use Shaman's effect. This is where we fucked up before. We would use this right away. We're not going to do that. We're going to normal summon Jet Synchron, link it away for Link Karibo, and then use Jet Synchron's effect. We're going to send this to grave to summon itself back out. Now we'll link 2 again. Jet Synchron will get banished for Crystron Halifibrax. Halifibrax effect is going to activate, and we're going to get where are you? Our O-Lion. So as of right now, we don't need to use any of the effects of the monsters in the extra deck anymore. So we can go ahead. I don't really want to discard this, but that's okay. We can go ahead and use Shaman's effect to discard the Adhara, and we're going to special summon out the Mermere. So now what we can do is use Mermere. We're going to make 2 tokens, so 1 and 2. Right? Each of these tokens are level 1, so we're going to use the tokens and the O-Lion to go ahead and make the Herald of the Arclight. The Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion is going to make a level 3 token, and now Mermere and the token that equals level 8 synchro into Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. And then we can link. Ooh, okay. Before we do this, while we still have Mermere and the level 3 token, this is when we're gonna go ahead and activate Ashuna, banish it to special summon Vishuddha from the deck. And there's a reason for this. I'll show you in just a second. And then while we're at it, we're gonna go ahead and activate Adhara, banish Adhara to add Ashuna back to our hand. And then that's pretty much it for the Tenyi monsters effects. We're going to go ahead and do that synchro I was saying to go into Draco Berserker. Oh, hold on. I fucked up again. I want to make sure I do this right. Okay. So before we do this, before, this is still engrave and this is still engrave, right? Link these two off, very important, into your Avramax, because Ashuna will lock you into worm monsters. All right, so now we go ahead and activate Ashuna, summon Vishuddha. All right, we can go ahead and activate Ahara while we're at it, add Ashuna back to our hand. Now we synchro for Berserker, and we're gonna link off the Vishuddha for a copy of Monk. Now, this doesn't look like a lot, but let's keep in mind what we have in our graveyard here. So, this is in our hand, right? This is banished. We've got a spin back that we can use on our next turn. We've got an honest, targeting protection, and then destruction protection, all because we have Monk on the field, right? Plus this is going to summon something out next turn. On top of that, we have a negate, a banish, and this is going to keep your opponent from attacking anything else other than himself. So it's not a bad first turn board, but now keep in mind, this isn't always going to happen. Most of the time, if you draw like I did in this hand, you got lucky. This is a grind deck. Most of the time, you're going to want to go second, bait out your opponent's negates, put on some, you know, non-effect monster, and then use your main deck monster's effects to either beef them up or protect them from being destroyed or slowly break down your opponent's board. This is not a competitive deck. I would say this is rogue at best, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And so, the giveaway. If you commented on my last video, I have some, what's the word I'm looking for? I have record of that, so you are still entered into the giveaway if you commented on the video that got deleted. But for this video, same thing. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, because I'm not going to give this away to a non-subscriber. And comment down below anything you want to tell me about yourself related to Yu-Gi-Oh! How did you get into Yu-Gi-Oh? What's your favorite deck? You know, what's your favorite anime series or whatever, and if you play competitively or casually with your friends. And also, you know, this is not something you have to do, but tell me what brought you to my channel. Did you find one of my deck profiles on Facebook? Did you happen to stumble across it on YouTube? I would like to know, like, what brought you to my channel and what made you stay this long to stick around for the giveaway here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, and this could be yours. In the meantime, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Peace out.